I'm Nick Snow, watching Government for Oil and Gas Journal in Washington, D.C. International observers are still considering the extent, if any, of changes since Salman bin Abdulaziz al Saud became Saudi Arabia's king in January. Most aren't ready to issue declarations just yet. We've done about as well understanding these shifts over the years as people normally do picking a fantasy football team, observed Anthony Cordesman, who holds the Arlie A. Burke Chair in Strategy at the Center for Strategic and International Studies. Other speakers at the Atlantic Council's May 29th discussion of Saudi leadership changes implications for stability in energy markets quickly mentioned the kingdom's ongoing confrontations of traditions with demands for change. Abi bin Ibrahim al-Nami remains Petroleum and Mineral Resources Minister, but would like to retire and probably will be replaced, suggested Jean-Francois Sesnek, a visiting associate professor at Georgetown University's Center for Contemporary Arab Studies. One of the king's sons, Prince Abdulaziz, is deputy minister. Nothing much has changed. I don't expect policy to change much either, Sesnek said. National oil company Saudi Aramco may be a different story since it's, quote, totally technocratic with a Supreme Council that handles decisions, although that's not very new, he continued. Its chief executive, Amin H. Nasser, handles day-to-day decisions. Sesnek said Saudi Aramco's biggest change the past few years has been its movement into chemicals, previously the province of Saudi Basic Industries Corporation, and making it look less like a national oil company and more like ExxonMobil Corporation. One question the next few months may be whether Aramco's chemical operations will shift to SABIC or be allowed to grow, he suggested. Francis Riccardioni, Vice President and Director of the Atlantic Council's Rafik Hariri Center for the Middle East, said that during his recent visit to Saudi Arabia, quote, what I saw was counter to my prejudices, which portrayed the country as most resistant to change, end quote. Good diplomats and business executives consider not just threats, but also opportunities in countries like Saudi Arabia, he maintained. It's the law of the few, he explained. Not many are needed to get things going. By the time it becomes the majority, a new idea is well underway. Ricky Ardone said the question of whether a positive tipping point has been reached applies not just to Saudi Arabia, but the whole region. The conversations were exciting, he told the Atlantic Council audience. The young Saudis I heard were fired up. They feel empowered to do something. He considers it significant that most of the young Saudis who have studied in Europe and the United States, where they have been exposed to different cultures, have then returned home where many quietly work for reform. That's Watching Government for this week. In Washington, I'm Nick Snow for Oil and Gas Journal.